Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the EP Fan Zone podcast, the podcast that's by, for, and about Elvis fans. It's good to be with you all for episode 3. My name is Kevin Booth, and I'm here with
Abby.
my daughter, Abby, again tonight as our co-host, and we have a special guest with us tonight. Everybody say hello to Kai.
Hi.
Kai, say hello.
Hi.
There we go. We got Kai. Kai is all the way in Oklahoma, and this is the very first time that we're trying this guest thing. So we're hoping that it works out and we can get it all figured out. So we will learn as we go, trial by error, as they say. So, Abby, it's been a pretty neat Elvis week again.
Mm-hmm.
We had a kind of a second trailer come out. We had a tiny bit more footage in it than what we saw before. So what did you think of that?
It was pretty cool seeing more EOT footage.
That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited that they showed a little bit of Richmond laying on his back on the
really good quality.
Really, really good quality. So I'm hoping that one of these days we'll get that Richmond concert. 'Cause that's the one I've been wanting to see for years, is that Richmond concert. But they say it's in private hands, and right now they don't have their hands on it. But if Epic goes well, they say, if Epic goes well, we may very well see the whole Norfolk, Virginia concert released in some shape or form.
Yeah.
Probably in 2027 for the 50th, more than likely.
Hopefully.
I think that's where we're going to see a lot of this stuff. Just for the 50th anniversary. We'll see some in Epic, but I have a feeling some big deal is going to be coming in 2027.
100%. Yeah.
So we'll look forward to that. And we had an anniversary. January is a big month for Elvis. You got the birthday, then you got the Aloha show, and what else, Abby?
The JC Awards. That's
right. Elvis won one of the 10 most outstanding young men of the year award, and made that JC speech. What was the date?
I forgot. Oh, January 16th, 1971.
There we go, right in front of us. January 16th, 1971. I was almost a year old, a couple months from being a year old when Elvis made the speech. So we thought it would be pretty neat if we took a listen to Elvis in that JC speech. So here we go.
I'd like to thank the JCs for electing me as one of the outstanding young men. When I was a child, ladies and gentlemen, I was a dreamer. I read comic books, and I was the hero of the comic book. I saw movies, and I was the hero in the movie. So every dream that I ever dreamed has come true 100 times. And these gentlemen over here, I see these type of people who care, who are dedicated. You realize that it's not possible that they might be building the kingdom of heaven. It's not too far-fetched in reality. I'd like to say that I learned very early in life that without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, no man ain't got a friend. Without a song, the road would never bend. Without a song. So I'll keep singing the song. All right, thank you.
So that was the speech, January 16th, 1971. The anniversary of that was just a few days ago. So we wanted to remember that tonight. Elvis was incredibly proud of that award. He actually carried it around on tour with him. He didn't want to leave it at home. He carried it around on tour with him for a while. So he was incredibly proud of that JC's award speech. And I found out something else yesterday. This is totally off kilter. It's not something I was going to bring up, but I read the article, so I decided to bring it up. In 1977, January of 1977, so it would have been the anniversary this month if it would have happened. Elvis was supposed to record in a brand new, at the time, very cutting edge, state of the art studio in Nashville. It was a brand new studio, and for years it's been said that and rumored that Elvis got to Nashville and Ginger wouldn't come with him to the studio, so he threw a fit and wouldn't go into the studio because Ginger wouldn't come.
Oh my God.
But That's not true.
Oh.
Not true. All these years it's been blamed on Elvis that he threw a fit. First of all, Ginger said in her book that she was there. And just recently, they found an old interview from Elvis's producer named Felton Jarvis.
Mm-hmm.
And Felton told the story that, they did the show in Pittsburgh for New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elvis went to Palm Springs to celebrate his birthday. He went to Ginger's grandfather's funeral. And then he flew into Nashville. And when Elvis got off the plane, it was like 7 degrees below zero. And he got to the hotel. And the next day when he was supposed to come in, he called Felton. He was like, look, I've got a tickle in my throat. I don't know if it's going to amount to anything, but it doesn't feel well. Is there anybody that can come take a look at my throat? So Felton contacted a specialist there in Nashville, and a specialist came to the hotel that Elvis was staying at, and he examined his throat, and Elvis's throat was swollen. And
did he have chocolate?
No, he didn't have chocolate. The specialist said that he had a inflamed throat, that he had a cold, and he suggested that Elvis did not sing and didn't do the recording session.
Oh, that sucks.
And so Elvis flew back to Memphis and went home.
Do you think he would have recorded what he recorded in the? Oh wait, no, that was before.
Well,
what we're talking about.
Another part of this story was that the night before, when Elvis arrived in Nashville, Felton sent him a whole bunch of demos, and Elvis picked out a whole bunch of songs that he wanted to record and sent them to Felton and said, hey, go ahead and start working on these, because they could go in and record the tracks without Elvis being there.
I almost said, do you think he would have still recorded what he recorded in the Jungle Room sessions? I told
he had already done that. Yeah, that was in 76. So this would have been, another album, probably would have came out in the spring of 77. So it was blamed on Elvis all these years. So I wanted to take the blame off of Elvis. Felton Jarvis said that, and Felton went on to say,
How did he even come up with that?
I don't know. Felton went on to say in the interview, I have no idea where the crazy story came from.
They're always coming up with stuff.
But that it wasn't true, that Elvis just was sick and his throat was inflamed, and the doctor suggested he go back home and rest, and they never did reschedule it, and the rest is history. Elvis eventually, started touring in the spring and whatnot. So I guess that's why he never went back to the studio, because tours started again, and so Elvis never made it back to the studio. But anyway, I wanted to straighten that up because that's been a story that's been thrown around for years. So
I've never heard that, though.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I have to send you the article. So there we go. That's a couple of Elvis things that we cleared, kind of Elvis history things that we cleared. And, that's what we're about on this show. And the other thing we're about is this is a show by, for, and about Elvis fans. And we want to be a platform for other Elvis fans to tell their story and about, how they became fans and what Elvis meant to them. And so Abby's best friend, Kai, is a huge Elvis fan. She's out there in Oklahoma, where there's something in the water out there. I said back in the 90s, there's something in the water in Oklahoma, because Oklahoma gave us, in the 90s, Garth Brooks, Reba McEntire, Vince Gill, all of these sensational singers from the 90s. So, Kai, there must be something in the water in Oklahoma. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to turn it over to Abby and Kai, and I might come in every now and then, and they're just going to talk like they do just about 24 hours a day. So here we go. Kai, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, before we get into Elvis, tell us a little about you.
I don't know what's very interesting about me. I mean, I'm 20-year-old.
You're going into the army. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the inspiration of Elvis himself, too.
Yeah. Okay. So, how old were you when you first heard Elvis? Like, really noticed him?
Honestly, I think I was like around 3. Like, noticing him. I was brought up on him, but I think when I realized that I liked his music was around 3.
Okay. Do you remember the first Elvis song or performance that really hooked you to him?
Performance, I think it was probably something from 74. and that ended up. It's still my favorite year, but I think that's what hooked me was a performance from '74 I seen on my mom's phone.
Was there like a moment where you thought like, okay, I get it now. I get the hype.
When I heard "Make the World Go Away."
Ooh, good song.
And that's an off the wall kind of.
Yeah.
That's usually not the, it's usually a big hit or something like that.
Nobody talks about that song.
So what was it about that song, Kai, that you think did it?
At the time, I was going through a lot, and I wanted the world to go away. So I really I looked into it, and I was like, man, I could connect to the song in certain ways, and it really made me think about like how he might have felt.
Yeah. Um, what do you think it is about Elvis that connects with people in our generation?
Honestly, his trauma.
You know what? Yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
I mean,
word.
a lot of people in our generation have a lot of trauma, and we
Mhm.
bond because of trauma.
That's true. That's a good answer.
Now, hearing that answer, did you, when you discovered Elvis and started getting, did you start reading and finding out about that trauma or the things that he went through?
Kinda. I was around 9 when I started even thinking about looking into it. But when I turned, like, 12, I really looked into it, and I got really, really, like, spiritually close with him in a way.
Okay. Um, is there an Elvis song that feels personal to you now, and why?
Um, uh, there's a lot. Right, my favorite for months now has been, like, True Love Travels on a Gravel Road. I don't know what it is about that song, but I connect to it so well, and I've listened to it about 2,000 times.
She's not joking.
I'm not
I've
surprised.
seen the receipts.
I'm not surprised. No.
There
Now,
was a time where she listened to Milky White Way literally 1,000 times.
wow. I probably haven't listened to that 1,000 times in my lifetime. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. So I want to. I got to meet Kai and her parents back 2 years ago now. I guess in August of a couple of years ago, when we went down to Tupelo, got out of the car, and it was hotter than the surface of the sun.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I wanted to ask Kai, were your parents surprised at your infatuation, your love of Elvis?
My mom wasn't. My dad wasn't, but he was also he was surprised the first time we went to Graceland because he didn't realize how much, like, Graceland meant to me. And I sobbed throughout the entire house. And we had bought the ultimate pass, so we got to hold, his belt. And there's a picture. I actually have a life-size cutout of me holding his belt. But
It's so funny.
there's a
That's
picture, and
awesome.
I'm sobbing so hard, and I didn't want to give it up. The lady
Yeah,
had to
that's
pry it out of
awesome.
my hands, but that's when he realized that this man means more to me than probably anybody else has.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Um, do you think people our age misunderstand Elvis, and in what way do they misunderstand him?
Absolutely. I mean, to start with, there's, like, the rumors and stuff, and nobody looks into anything about him anymore.
No, they just go off of what they see in a video.
Yeah, and, like, half the time it's an AI video.
Oh yeah,
There's so
it's so
much of that.
stupid. It's so stupid.
There's so much of that going around now. Right now, it seems there are more fake pictures of Elvis on social media
Dude.
right now than there is real.
Dude, they are making AI photos of photos that exist.
Yeah.
I don't get it. The only AI photos I will accept is like concept suits or like turning stories into pictures and stuff like that. But when you're gonna take a photo that exists and then make it AI. Like
Yeah, like,
I saw a video or a photo of what was supposed to be him in the car at the Houston Astrodome that literally exists. I don't get
yeah, I saw a picture the other day of Elvis and Vernon on stage together, and they're telling the story, and it's the picture of Elvis has got the sundial suit on, but they changed the suit. The belt is wrong. His face is misformed. It's just
I've seen pictures, AI pictures of him and that little blind girl, and like I just don't understand why they're using it.
fake
It's
pictures.
so stupid.
So Kai, I kind of got a follow-up question to that because, when I was coming up, of course, I was around the last 7 years of Elvis's life, but in the 80s, a lot of negative stuff started coming out about, the drug abuse and all of that kind of stuff. And so, us Elvis fans had to trudge through all of that and defend him. So with all the negative stuff coming out today, how did you get past all of the negative stuff initially?
Well, with how I was always raised not to take people's opinions too hard about everybody. Because a lot of people in my family talked bad about each other, but I still loved them. So I figured
Right.
that I'd give him the same grace that I would anybody else. And I looked into it.
That's a fantastic answer. It really is.
What part of Elvis do you love the most? Like the music, the performances, the story, or is like there anything else that you love the most about him?
I'd probably say he's like his inspiration on people. Like the way he like he's half the reason I'm going into the army. And he's a lot of people's like inspiration for their careers. And
Yeah.
I like to see him in people's life.
Mm-hmm. If Elvis was still around today, do you think he'd still stand out?
Honestly, I think he'd be kind of a hermit. I think he'd want to be
Really?
home a lot. Yeah, I feel like he'd want to spend time with like his grandkids and stuff. I mean, sure, he'd get out and he'd probably go like do a bunch of stuff with his grandkids and Lisa, but I think he'd want to have like alone time for a while after retirement or something.
Yeah. Um, if someone our age or in our generation has never listened to Elvis, where should they start?
This Is Our Dance.
Hmm? You cut out.
I think they should start at This Is Our Dance.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. Really? Now
Yeah,
I got to know why.
absolutely. I have always been really like a fan of slower types of music because it's calming. But I feel like if anybody else were to get into them, they could start with that. They wouldn't have to hear all these fast, upbeat, well, mostly fast and upbeat, hits. And the hits are kind of like overrated and they're overplayed. They kind of get annoying at a certain point. So I figured
Mhm.
like This Is Our Dance is a good middle man.
Yeah. Why do you think that Elvis still matters today?
Oh, um, I don't know how to explain that. I mean, he's helped me with almost everything in my life. And I feel
Yeah.
like he's helped a lot of people with everything in their life too.
So I asked Abby a question on our debut show a couple of weeks ago, and so I ask you this question: if Elvis arrived today, like if he became famous today, just like say fast forward in time, and Elvis, do you think he would have stood out as much today as he did in 1956, which we're celebrating all this year, 70 years ago of Elvis's triumph year. Do you think Elvis would still stand out as a superstar stud today?
With how much music has, like, taken a drift, I feel like he'd stand out in certain genres, but not like Billboard, because
Right.
everybody's like all about like indie pop now.
Yeah. I think, like you said, he's stand out in a way. And I mean, we have people like Elliot James, which obviously we wouldn't have him if it wasn't for Elvis. But if we did have him anyway, I think Elvis would stand out. I mean, Elliot isn't like extremely big, but he's out there.
I want to go back to something we talked about a few minutes ago. If Elvis was still around today, I'm convinced the one thing he would do is he would be traveling around doing the Gaithers reunion shows, singing with all the gospel singers.
Oh yeah.
I think Elvis would be all over those Gaither tours. I think that's probably the only kind of singing and stuff that he would be doing today if he was still with us. I think he'd be all over the Gaither traveling shows and singing with them. I think that's where he would find his niche now, because gospel is what he always wanted to do anyway.
What do you think if I want to ask both of you, but if Elvis was still alive today, what do you think he'd think of the tribute artists? Like the professional ones like Dean and Cody and Emilio.
El- Elvis, well, there's the famous picture of Elvis meeting a tribute artist
Yeah.
at the Palm Springs house. Um, and Elvis said that impersonation was the sincerest form of flattery. I think it's how I put it. So Elvis took it well, as long as they did a good job. And
I think he would have really liked Dean.
yeah. So what do you think, Kai?
I do think he would have really. I think he would have told them that they need to like be their own person outside of their
Yes.
jobs, but
Mm-hmm.
I think he would tell them to drop the jumpsuits and just sing my songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that he wouldn't have a problem with them.
No, I don't think so either. I think he'd have a problem with the impersonators who literally think they are him. But
And ones that stink, he would have a major problem with.
yeah. Kai, what do you think, or what do you say to the newer fans who are going to be coming in soon from Epic? What do you have to say to them? Like, what advice do you have?
Be careful. They're not only
Yeah.
from like all the bad like rumors that are about him, but also the people in there. In the fandom, there's a bunch of people that can be super toxic.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna want to
We've
make
been around
friends
them.
who like Elvis, but there's so many in there that are so toxic, and sometimes you don't even realize it until years after,
Mm,
and it's bad.
Well, that's one of the goals of this show, is that we want to bridge the gap between fans of my generation and the younger fans, because the last couple of years, boy, it's gotten ugly. I won't mention any names of who kind of started that, but it got really ugly there for a while between the younger generation and the older generation. And we want this show to be a way to bridge that gap, for us all to come together as one big Elvis family. And Elvis is the one that brings us all together. He's the reason that we're all here and part of the big Elvis family. So there's no reason for us to be yelling and screaming at each other over who's the best or who's not. And there's room for everybody in this camp. And we want to bring it all together and show the world that Elvis fans are one big happy family.
yeah. I don't think I have any more questions. Is there anything else that you can come up with?
I thought there was one I wanted that you didn't ask you.
I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, that one. I like that.
Oh, Kai, what would you say to another young person who thinks Elvis is just old music?
Old music is better than newer music.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that's an absolute truth. That's an absolute truth.
This one kind of connects with that one. How does listening to Elvis music make you feel compared to modern music?
Um, there's a lot of modern artists that I really like that are up there with Elvis, like Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter. But listening to Elvis's music, it's not only like nostalgic for me, it's like a lot of it has helped me out of like really bad anxiety, so it's kind of calming for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like I can go into my own world without having to like take drastic measures to to like go into another world when I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I've always said that being an Elvis fan, you can find a song for whatever you're going through. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter what you're going through in life or what mood you're in. You can find something in his catalog it's going to help you and it's going to get you through. Yeah, because he did everything. I mean, Elvis could have sang the phone book and it would have been cool. He just found a way to be able to do anything. He was so Kai. We've talked about the music and everything else. So we got to jump into this. Where do you think? Where are Elvis's movies in your Elvis journey? Are they something that you go to also for comfort or to get away from things, or where does his movie stand in your Elvis fandom?
There's really only one movie that did that, like that I went to for comfort or anything, which was Change of Habit.
Okay,
Um,
good movie.
the other movies, except for like
She watched that movie nonstop for days.
Nice.
The Trouble with Girls and Jailhouse Rock aren't that bad, but the rest of his movies, it's kind of hard to watch them for me, in my opinion.
What do you mean Jailhouse Rock isn't that bad? That's one of his best movies.
It's not that bad. It's not that
I'm
bad.
judging.
Flaming Star's pretty good too.
No, he was
Flaming
actually
Star's amazing. I don't watch that movie a lot, but it's amazing.
well out in the country. I thought he was incredible, and especially the scene where he starts talking about his mother in the movie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You could see he was feeling every single he really could act. He really could. They
Yeah.
just is there a song, Kai, that you feel is just completely I'll go both ways here. Is there a song that you feel like is completely underrated first?
There is a lot. Really, like anything off of his hits, but I think the 12th of Never is
Oh,
one of
Ooh,
the most underrated.
I low key thought you were gonna say Froggy Went a
I did
Courtin'.
too. I was waiting for Froggy Went a Courtin'.
Every time me and
It
my
is.
dad do a Facebook Live, Kai comes on and begs us and basically forces us to do Froggy Went a Courtin'.
Froggy Went a Courtin'. So we did it. One of the last
Yeah.
times we sang it along with Elvis.
Lady Madonna
All
is a
right.
pretty good one too.
Which one?
Lady Madonna.
There you so you like the jam cuts, where he was just messing
Yeah.
around in the studio.
Yeah.
That's something I think all the new Elvis fans should go and listen to. Listen to all the underrated like albums and songs and listen to the home recordings and the studio recordings. They are so funny. Listen to outtakes from songs. They're so funny. So entertaining.
All right.
You
So
can
on the
also
other
read
side,
a
is there a song that you're like, man, that song is just so overrated?
Me and Kai are gonna have the same answer.
I have a lot of answers.
What's the number
Like the
one?
number
Can't Help
one
Falling in Love.
overrated song.
Absolutely.
Which
What'd you
one?
say?
Can't Help Falling in Love.
Yep.
Oh, Abby, and you have same answer. Can't Help Falling in Love.
I skip the song almost every single time it comes on. Sorry.
I've got to tell you, mine, and it's always been this way, is Love Me Tender. Love Me Tender is a
I can
song
listen to that
I've
one.
always skipped most of the time when it comes on. Unless, yoga is as yoga does or one of
You know
those.
a song that's become overrated because of TikTok?
Love Me.
Love Me.
Love Me.
Oh my god, it's such a good song, but it's so overplayed now because it got to TikTok.
It,
We call when songs get to TikTok, we call them TikTokified.
yeah, that'll do it. Well, I'll tell you, for years, and it's
Burning Love too.
for some. No, that's
Burning Love got TikTokified. It became a trend.
But man, Burning Love, that's the song that brought me to Elvis. So
I skip it.
But for years, it's grown on me again, like in a weird way, I guess, because of its lasting power is Hound Dog. For some reason, when Hound Dog comes on now, I'm like, wow, yeah, that was so fresh sounding.
The only version of Hound Dog I will listen to is from 1969 because he jokes around in it. That is the only version of Hound Dog that I will listen to.
I like the 72 version where he starts off slow. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Dum, dum. I love that version. That's really good. But when you hear Hound Dog, it still sounds new. I mean, the song is so high energy. And Lieber and Stoller, when they first heard Elvis do Hound Dog, because they didn't even know that he recorded it. Next thing, they all of a sudden their song was a hit again, and they hated it. They said, "What did this kid do to our song?" But when the royalties started coming in, they said, "Well, you know what? It's pretty good." And of course, they went on to write so many songs for him. But so Hound Dog used to be on my overrated list, but now it's just Love Me Tender. Whenever Love Me Tender comes on, I gotta turn it off. I gotta skip it.
What album do you think a new Elvis fan should listen to first? Kai.
I don't know. Maybe
I think, and maybe I'm biased because I'm just in love with this album and I have been for forever. Back in Memphis. I was gonna say his best, but I feel like his best album was oh my gosh, it just left my head.
Had your first on air.
Oh my god, hold on, guys. Sorry, I forgot the album name for some reason. Give me 1 second.
Well, we'll go to Kai. Kai, I haven't asked this question. Is there a favorite album?
Walk a Mile in My Shoes.
Oh, so the box set.
Yeah.
The 70s box set. Very cool.
Elvis Presley Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably his best album, vocally. But my favorite album, and what I think is one of his best, is Back in Memphis.
Apparently, we're going to there's some rumor mill flying around that we might be hearing more Jungle Room stuff.
Huh?
Coming soon.
Where'd you hear that?
I heard Angie Marchese and them talking about it the other day. Apparently, there's some stuff that's still out there that we
haven't heard.
Apparently, it's on FTD, and they might make it a regular release.
Please?
Yeah.
FTDs are so expensive.
So expensive. They really are.
I want the soundtrack.
That anniversary would be this year too, 76.
Yeah, that's true.
76. So we might hear some more of that 76 stuff released to the general public instead of just on FTD. I thought everything was already on the album Way Down in the Jungle Room, but apparently there's more we haven't heard yet that was on FTD label. So
I'm excited. I really hope they do something with that.
So we'll see. They actually had some, from what I saw, it was like one of the acetates that belonged to Elvis from the sessions she was holding in her hand and stuff. So
Kai, are you ready for Epic?
Absolutely not. I'm most of the stuff I've seen already, but I'm excited. I am excited for the part where, I don't want to spoil it. It was kind of spoiled for me.
I think I mentioned it already.
Did you?
The suite?
Yeah.
I mentioned it in our
all
debut,
the Charlie footage I'm excited for because Charlie's my favorite Memphis Mafia member.
A little birdie told me that there's a lot of Charlie and Sonny footage, so I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Charlie was a nice guy. Nice guy.
I love Charlie. He's my favorite. Up there with Jerry and Sonny.
Charlie's story. I was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and went to see this guy named Lou Vudo. He played at a theater down there called the Memories Theater in Pigeon Forge. And he was okay. I mean, for an Elvis tribute artist. He was all right. Wasn't mind blowing, but he was okay. And Charlie was in the show with him and gave him his scarves and the same stuff he did for Elvis. And then after the show, I was shocked because we went out in the lobby and there was all these people gathered around Lou Vudo trying to get pictures with him and all of that kind of stuff. And Charlie was sitting over at this table by himself. So I'm thinking, I don't want to meet this guy. I don't give a crap. And I went over and sat next to Charlie. I stood in front of the table and he said, well, come on around here and sit down next to me. So I went behind the table and sat down and we had a really nice conversation and he was a really super, super nice guy. But I couldn't believe how all these fans wanted to meet the tribute artist instead of the guy that was actually with Elvis.
Guys, we could make a episode of just stories that my dad has with meeting people Elvis has been around or was related to, and it would be like a 2-hour episode because he hits me with stuff randomly. He's like, oh, I met this person. Hello? You didn't tell me that like 6 years ago?
I was
He
blessed.
just drops stuff on me randomly. I
I
touched Elvis's hair like a year ago. He told me that.
did. A lock of his hair. A friend of mine had a lock of his hair. Yeah.
Such random stuff.
There's some cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. I got to see the If I Can Dream suit when it had a coffee stain on it.
What? He never told me that.
Yeah, back in 1987, we did a big show in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and they brought some artifacts up, and they brought the If I Can Dream, and they hadn't this is 1987. It's only 10 years after his death, and they hadn't totally restored it yet. And apparently, at some point, Elvis spilled coffee.
I didn't know that.
On the If I Can Dream
See,
suit.
he doesn't tell me things.
Yeah, I just never told. They just pop up in my head. I'm old.
I have a question for you. What was it like being a tribute artist when there was just you and a few others like Michael Hoover and stuff?
It was wild because
you were in the first tribute artist competition in Memphis.
1987, sure was. Came in the top 10 back then. It was cool because it really was a specialty because there wasn't a ton of us doing it. And, Elvis hadn't been gone that long, so the hype was still really big. And so people really wanted to see the shows because, and I'm not saying they still do, but the amount of people that do it now is just insane. Back then, it was just a smattering of us, and it was cool. Every year we did the birthday celebrations, and it was back in those days. It made the news. We would
have newspapers that my dad is on.
Yeah, we would do tribute, Elvis birthday tributes, and on the TV stations would come out and film it, and people that hung out with the Jordanaires when they came up one year, and that's too many people. But yeah, it was a specialty thing, so it was really cool to be part of that first. I say the founding fathers of the Elvis tribute artist world.
I'm making my dad go to a tribute artist show. This is his first one that isn't somebody he knew. Oh my gosh, he knows personally.
Yeah.
We're going to see Victor Trevino Jr.
Yeah.
We almost saw Dean Z, but then we got a snowstorm. Hopefully this one doesn't affect it.
Nah, it shouldn't. It's a week from now. A week and a half.
I got really scared. There's a curse when I see people in Hanover, PA.
So Kai, do you have a favorite tribute artist?
Dean
Z.
I've seen him
you were going to say
about
that
20 times.
That's awesome.
She lived. How far are you from Branson? Like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah.
So she sees him all the time.
Yeah, we got to get there one of these days.
I'm really jealous, but every time that she goes, I get either a video of Dean saying hi to me or I FaceTime him.
Well, hopefully we'll all be meeting in Memphis in 2027.
We should be.
For the 50th. Hopefully, Kai, you'll be available and out of the military thing by then, hopefully.
I'm hoping that I don't get an early deployment, but I should be able to go.
Hopefully so. That's going to be a big batch. That's going to be the last big one for my generation, yeah,
Joel said it's going to be bigger than ever. So
it's got to be.
So excited.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very
Drink
cool.
water this time.
Well, this was a great show. Kai, thanks a lot for being our very first guest on
Thank
the
you for
EP
having
Fan Zone. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Anything you want to say to the fans out there before we sign off, Kai?
Be careful.
Watch out.
Well, it's great
Watch
that you and Abby are carrying the torch. Elvis, I'm gonna speak on behalf of him. You know, his greatest fear was that he wouldn't be remembered, and you guys, this generation, would be his favorite fans right now because despite all of the hubbub that's out there and all of the negative stuff that's out there, you guys love him in spite of it all. And so you all would be his favorite fans right now, and he would absolutely adore the fact that almost 50 years after his death, that your generation is carrying the torch for him going forward. So you guys, he would love you all the most.
I think Elvis would be scared of some of the fans, but some of us are a little crazy.
Nah, he wouldn't be. He experienced all the crazy. Trust me,
He'd be concerned by the TikTok edits.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap up this session of episode 3 of the EP Fan Zone podcast, the podcast that's by, for, and about Elvis fans. And we will see you all next week. Kai, thanks again. Thank you all for listening. Have a blessed day. We'll see you next week.
Bye.